do. There we go. Now it's being recorded. So Jefferson and Jennifer, go ahead, take it away.
All right. Welcome everyone to our cooking demonstration. My name is Jefferson Ruiz.
And I'm Jennifer Turner.
And we are Kaiser University interns working with the staff wellness program of Palm Beach County Schools. And we're here to cook for you guys two amazing dishes. First one being pan-seared tilapia. And the next one will be honey and spiced pears. So we're going to be cooking it for you guys live. Just as a quick reminder, just want to remind you guys about the Real Appeal program. It's a program offered to you guys online. If you guys want to talk with one-on-one coaching, there's helpful tips on there. There are virtual sessions and classes that you guys can attend to get more information, completely free for you guys. Also want to remind you guys about Nicole. She's a registered dietitian working with Palm Beach County Schools. So you guys are allowed to contact and have one-on-one sessions with her or with any of us for any kind of nutrition-related questions, or maybe if you got to work, if there's any kind of like programs that you want to thinking about getting into regarding diet, any diets you like trying out. Maybe you just want input on the diet you're having now. Feel free to contact staff wellness at palmbeachcountyschools.org to set up an appointment with either us or with Nicole, the registered dietitian. And I also want to promote a little bit of a ad for my class that's happening tomorrow on carbohydrates, the big stigma on carbohydrates. I kind of want to dispel that and talk about are carbs right for you? You should avoid them. Or what are they? Helpful tips on them. I think it's going to be a great class we have tomorrow. So definitely join up for that if you can. And without further ado, let's go ahead and talk about the dish.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Like I said, I'm Jennifer. I'm an intern for dietetics. And today, we're going to honor the month of heart health awareness. And we're going to have an easy, simple, and healthy and tasty meal for you. Low sodium and low fat. We're going to have an entree of tilapia, pan-seared. And for dessert, we're going to have your honey spiced pear. Now, I have some already made up just to save some time so you can see what it looks like with the pears. And I have here the tilapia. But I'm going to go ahead and cook one of each so you can see what it looks like and how the steps are done. So we're going to start with just the tilapia. We have your pan here.
In the oil?
We have for the ingredients, it's going to be unsalted butter, which makes a big difference when you're trying to stay away from the sodium as much as possible. Unsalted butter. And that's a tablespoon of that. So I'm going to put that in the pan and let that do what it does. Melt up for you. And we have this dash here, which is a great alternative for salt. It has onion and herbs in this. So it's a great thing to get your seasoning, your tasting without the salt added to it.
Salt-free. That safety right there is salt-free. So if you want to watch your salt intake, it's the perfect way as a replacement for salt.
Okay. So we already have your washed tilapia that's dried from with the paper towels. And we want to put it in here in the pan. Now with the Mrs. Dash, you can do a serving of a quarter teaspoon. And just put it right on top of it. And we're going to cook the fish for about 4 minutes on each side. Okay? And we just come up here, wash my hands a little.
Jennifer just touched fish, so she's going to wash her hands now. You don't want to cross-contaminate.
That's right, that's right.
Can you please hold up the Mrs. Dash bottle so they can see that?
Sure can.
I'll open this one.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to let it do like 4 minutes on each side of the tilapia. All right, and while we're letting that go, I'm going to start on with the pear. So we have here a pot. And the ingredients for the pears is a cup of light cranberry cocktail juice. Then you have your half a teaspoon of cinnamon. You're going to combine all this together. And we have your quarter teaspoon of ground allspice.
Ground allspice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're going to mix that up pretty well and just let it simmer.
Let me get that down.
Thank you.
This is the ground allspice.
Let that mix up together. And I already have here a pear that's cut up and peeled. There's a little trick for the peeling of the pear. You can boil water for about 2 or 3 minutes. Once the water is boiled, you put the pear in and let it just sit there for about 2 or 3 minutes. Take it out and put it into ice bath water. And while you're letting it cool off, you take your thumb and just kind of run the skin off of the pear. And that way you don't lose a lot of your fruit. Okay? I'm going to sit here, kind of give the tilapia a little look. And you sit a little bit longer. Okay. Now I have the pear here so I can show you how you're going to pour out. You're going to take a little bit in here, be very careful with that. And take it around to get the little seed that's in there out. And it's very delicate, so you want to do it very soft, softly as you can to get it out. All right. And it's a little messy, but don't be afraid of mess. You can always just wash your hands right after. I'm going to give this tilapia a little flip. And fish is very delicate, so you don't want to break it apart. Just be gentle when you flip it over. All right, and give it another 4 minutes on that side. Okay.
So we're doing 4 minutes on one and 4 minutes on the other.
So a total of 8 minutes. So we have our sauce going. What I'm going to do is add my pear in very gently and careful not to burn yourself. Just let it simmer. And while you're doing that as well, you're going to add in a tablespoon of your low sugar cranberry, dried cranberry. This is by Ocean Spray. It's 50% less sugar.
Also cranberry.
Jennifer,
Yes.
what type of pears are you using?
I am using red pear. I'm sorry, didn't tell you.
Thank you.
But you can pretty much use whichever brand that you like. Just to make sure they're kind of firm, not too soft. I'm going to add
That's
in
right.
the cranberry.
4 minutes are all good.
Okay. We're going to let that simmer and do what it does for a little bit with the pears and the sauce. All right, we're going to take the tilapia off. You want to see how it looks straight out of the pan.
Oh man.
Yeah. The original recipe called for a 1/2 cup of flour. I decided not to go with that, just trying to eliminate any extra unnecessary calories and starch. So you really don't need it when you have your butter. Get a nice little crust going. All right. We'll let that sit over there.
Oh,
All right.
cool.
And right here, I have the 1.5 cups of arugula, where you're going to place the tilapia on. Okay. So what you want to do is you take your olive oil and you're going to use a tablespoon. If you don't have a tablespoon right out, you have a teaspoon. 3 teaspoons equals 1 tablespoon. And just put that in there.
Can you raise it up? I can't see it very well.
Sure. Can you raise it up for me?
Yeah. But this?
Yeah. See. So that's 3 teaspoons equal 1 tablespoon. Okay. So you're going to do that. Give it a nice little toss. Thank you, Jefferson. To get the oil all over your arugula. So you can get your greens in. Okay. And then you just place it on your plate. And I'll hold it up in just a sec. Okay. Place it on your plate. And you take your tilapia, scoop it off. Place it right on top of your arugula. Now, if you want to spice it up a little bit,
All done?
yeah, if you want to spice it up a little bit, you can add some cherry tomatoes, or some other type of veggie you want. If you want to add a little more color to it, that's fine. Okay. And also, what I like to do with my fish and the arugula to bring out the flavor just a little bit more is add some lime juice, fresh lime juice. And there's a trick also for that to get as much juice as you can out of it. You take it on the table and roll it like this. Just roll it, give it a nice little roll a couple of times. And then you go ahead and give it a little cut. Be careful. Okay. And this is the cut part. And you just squeeze as much as you like to your tasting. I just do a little squeeze around it. That brings out the flavor of both of the fish and your arugula. Like that. Okay.
Yeah.
So we got the entree done. Now we're going to go over here to our pear, which is doing pretty well. And we're going to take the pear out so we can cool just a little bit and we continue to cook our sauce. Okay. And what we're going to do is take the, I'm sorry, I lost the spoon. There we go. We're going to add a tablespoon first of the honey. We want to do it like divided just a little bit. You don't want to put it all together at once. Okay. So we take, again, like I said, if you don't have a tablespoon, you can use 3 teaspoons to equal 1. Place the honey inside. And a great alternative for your honey, you can do the agave. That's a great alternative for your honey if you're not, too keen on honey taste. It's really good for you as well. And we're just going to stir that in. Bring it up so you can see just a little bit how it's starting to look. You want to come down to a reduction. Okay.
When I said we'll be cooking, I meant it kind of lightly, as you can see.
So let that simmer a little bit. And then we add in another teaspoon. Okay. Then you want to kind of reduce it down to maybe like a 1/4 cup. It all depends on how thick or how thin you want your sauce. It's up to you, your preference. Okay. All right. So, quick question while I'm doing this. Do anyone know the daily limit on your sodium intake?
$2,000.
3,000, you said? Close.
2.
At 2,000.
She said
2,000.
2,000.
Even closer.
Okay.
All right. Someone said 1,500.
Okay. All right. Well, the daily limit for your salt intake. I'm sorry.
3,400?
A little too high.
I wish.
I don't eat that much salt, so I don't really.
Well, your limit intake is 2,300 milligrams a day. But if you only going to use like table salt and you don't eat anything else, then that's fine. But if you're going to measure out the 2,300 milligrams, which is roughly 1 teaspoon, and you're eating, you're going to meet way over that limit. So what I would recommend, if you're going to use table salt for your seasoning, then try to stick to maybe like 1/4 teaspoon, because you're going to get the hidden sodium in your other foods, like your soups or your lunch meat or your prepackaged food. So you got to take that into consideration as well.
Keep in mind that foods that you would never think would have things like sugar or salt, like ketchup, we would think would have salt in it, but actually has a lot of sugar in it as well. So there's a lot of hidden salts, like Pio was saying, in our foods.
Yeah.
Keeping also in mind that the 2,300 milligrams is not universal. It's not for everyone, because everyone is different. For example, a 120-pound female compared to a 220-pound male, their daily recommended intakes are going to vary a little bit for each person. So when we give numbers, it's an average. So base it. So go off yourself. Are you very physically active? How much water do you drink? How's your build? How much do you weigh? Your height? Those are things that also take under consideration as well. Do you have the underlying condition? Because your diet may change because of certain conditions. If you have low blood pressure, if you have high blood pressure, of course you don't want to go off that 2,300 milligram mark. You want to go lower.
Right.
So something to keep in mind when you see a lot of people recommending certain numbers on like recommended intakes of certain nutrients.
Right. It's basically for healthy people. That's the
Yeah.
goal on there. Okay, so we have our reduced sauce for our pears. This is what it looks like. Okay. And then what you would want to do is you'll take your cored pear. Okay. And I have some already pre-made, but I just wanted to kind of show you what the sauce looked like. Okay. And this is the end result. You can spoon it over if you like, or you can just put it in the pot and just have it tossed with the sauce. It all depends on how you like it. So, in a nutshell, that is your low sodium, low fat entree and dessert.
Nice, sweet, and simple.
Yes.
Do you have any questions or anyone curious about anything about the cooking process, or questions about why the food was prepared, or any nutrient behind it, or anything, even nutrition related questions for now?
There's a question that says, do you refrigerate the pears after it's done?
You can if you want to save it for later on. I didn't. I just went ahead and just went right straight to it. But you can definitely, I think you can refrigerate up the pears up to maybe like a week. It all depends. It all depends on how well you preserve it. Yeah.
Right. Are there any other options that you could substitute for as far as the fish?
Sure. There, you can use chicken. You can use salmon if you don't like tilapia. You can use cod. You can also use shrimp. Basically, you can probably use anything you like your turkey. Yeah, you can definitely substitute that. And for as the pears, if you're not, you don't like the pears so much, you can use apple. They'll work just as well.
Let's see. Someone has a question regarding farmed tilapia and if it's good for you.
Farm tilapia is fine. So the difference, of course, between farmed and wild caught, there's a couple differences. For one, the diet and wild caught fish are going to be its natural resources. So it's going to be the plankton if it eats it, smaller fish if it eats it. It's his natural, whatever his diet is. While when it's inside of farmed, it will be eating a set diet. I don't know specifically what they're fed, whether it be starch or corn-based. But regardless, though, they aren't bad for you, though. Now, one thing to keep in mind that so far it looks like, wild caught 100%. But something to keep in mind also is that in the ocean, the bigger the fish it is, the higher content of mercury it's going to have. The reason being is because there are mercury levels in the water, and as the smaller fish consume it, and as the bigger fish are exposed to the water and also eat the smaller fish, they're more concentrated at mercury levels. That won't be apparent in the farmed fish because they never get a chance to eat that fish. So that's something to keep in mind also. So in terms of wild caught or farmed, nutritionally, they're the same. They're just about the same. Very small difference between maybe the mercury levels. And of course, that's only going to matter in the big fish. So something like tilapia isn't out there, eating wild bass out in the wild, right? So that's something not to be concerned about. But other than that, though, farm fish are fine. They're perfectly fine. Whether if there's any nutrient difference at all, it'll be very, very minute, but they're perfectly safe.
Yeah, and also just a little, what I found out, like with the farm fish, it seems to be a little cheaper than your wild caught fish. That's just my experience that I came to come to know. So just a little tidbit.
Yep, definitely for sure. Keep in mind though the reason why. You don't have to pay fishermen to go out there and catch them. There's a lot of labor, it's a lot of money. You have to pay for fuel.
Right.
While if it's a farm, it's easier to produce, it's mass produced. So you'll definitely see a correlation on price between each one, but they're both perfectly safe.
Right.
A lot of people are interested in either saying it looks delicious, looks yummy.
Well, thank you.
Can you all also maybe talk about other options regarding healthy fats? I know that you use the butter for the fish, but are there other alternatives or the difference between with the healthier fats?
Yeah, for sure. So she used butter. Butter is an animal-based fat. So Your animal fats are going to have saturated fats. We won't go into the molecular differences, but your animal fats are going to have the properties that are correlated to higher bad cholesterol levels and lower good cholesterol levels. While your unsaturated fat are your plant-based fats. So these are going to be your vegetable oils, your olive oils, avocado oils. Those are plant-based fats. Those are your health fats. Those are your unsaturated and polyunsaturated, monounsaturated. If you're looking at the back of your oils and you see poly and mono, those are the ones that you want high. Specifically, the polys are even better. So you can, anything plant-based you ever replace it with, the better. And if you really want to get in better, start looking at differences. Go to your store and look at vegetable versus olive versus avocado. If you like the taste of them all and you're seeing higher polyunsaturated fats, definitely the choice to go to. So that's alternatives you can make for substituting the butter, because anything animal based is going to be the saturated that increases your bad, decreases your low. While the unsaturated fats increases your higher cholesterol, increases your HDLs or your good cholesterol, and then can lower the bad cholesterol.
And the way to remember that with your HDL, H is for high, that's what you want. The L for low is what you want to be lower. So just a little bit.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Dina, Plant-Based Power. That's great. Thank you guys so much. As far as the recipes, we will be sharing the recipes. So you will receive those recipes. And is this your first time fixing this? Have you done this before?
It was not my first time fixing this, but for the demo, yes. But I did fix this I did make it like 2 or 3 times before today. So just wanted to make sure everything went right. Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys. Any other questions from anyone?
It doesn't have to be related also to the dish. Like anyone has a question in general, hey, for ask.
We're here.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. Of course, if you do have any questions or concerns, feel free to reach out to Staff Wellness at palmbeachschools.org, and we can definitely answer your questions or direct you to the individuals that can. Don't forget to complete the survey tomorrow. You all took your time and came to this demo, so we definitely want you to complete that survey for the Heart Month and enter your chance to win great raffle prizes that we have. Tomorrow, we are also having the carbohydrate presentation by Jefferson, which is a really hot topic. Of course, we all hear about carbs, so he's going to go into a little bit of detail, the difference between the carbs. So if you have not received an invite for that and you're interested in that, please give us an email us at Staff Wellness so we can send you an invite in the morning. I think I just saw a question. Hold on. Yes. And Carly made sure that she put our email address there. So for the carb lecture, please RSVP to Staff Wellness. Yes, the presentation. Oh, will that presentation be recorded? The carb presentation. I believe
Yes.
so. Yes. Okay. That is a yes.